Let's go to stardust.io. Yes. So we want to create a new project. We are making use of this guy. We are saying, okay, what is the name of your company?
Geo.
Geo. So let's call it app. Geo.app, right? Spring Boot Exe file upload and download example. So let's make it to be a Wi-Fi that we want to deploy. We now add our dependency. We add a Spring Web, right? Do we really need a MySpace? Yes, we do, but so that we just copy our existing MySQL projects there. We need this guy. Yeah, I think let's first work. Okay, we'll comment anything we don't need right now. We need JPA. We need there are libraries we need here that are not here. We are going to add them later. We need Swagger. You see, there is no Swagger here. No Swagger here. What else again? What do we need?
MySQL.
We need the MySQL. Let's see whether we see. It's not there. So those are the external design. So let's try and generate our project. I'll go to the folder where the project is. Let me first extract here. This is it. I'm going to copy out this. Let's paste it somewhere. Let's say Spring Projects. I want to put it under here so that on this guy, I think that the first project have some dependency, little dependency, right? That's Swagger UI, Swagger this and that. I'm going to make use of it. So let's open our project. All we need to do is we don't open the project, we just import let's just open the project. It's a Maven project, so it will open the Spring Boot app. So I normally like to use do you have let's go and see this app. We'll open it with a git bash. So we can say ls. I want to list the folder. I can say okay, mvn spring boot. So that I want it to download all the dependency for me. It's like you don't have Maven. Did you configure Maven?
No, we have not.
How did you use to run your Spring Boot project?
From CMD.
Okay, it's supposed to be like this.
First.
Why now? Why the environment variable is not set? Java or nothing? Okay, you just install another Java. You people supposed to know that you need to configure your environment variable. What is not done?
Said delete it. 8 to 1.
It's nothing to
Community.
matter of
Every week,
What is this? Just go to environment. Type environment here.
no.
Ha,
No, pin 1 9 6 0.
you know what I'm doing.
Now.
You have set Java underscore home. The Java home is set already. Why did you set it this morning?
Yes.
Did you restart your system when you set it?
No.
I think that is right. Let's go by this by. Let me try to see. No, this one is just downloading. And did you download JDK, not JRE? I hope it's not JRE you downloaded. Did you rename it?
It's JDK.
I don't trust this. Where did you download it? Let me see.
No, not that.
And it's JDK.
Hello, command, Java version.
The problem with IoT.
When you have been given, let's just continue first. What we want to achieve, we've done that. So let's start and add these two dependency. Me, I usually prefer 2.9. 2.9.2, right? You people should prepare all these things I'm teaching you now. You start using them. 9.2. Let's remove compile scope from here. Compile scope from here. It's not necessary for a dependency like this. You know if any mistake. Oh no, we mistakenly copied another dependency. So that is the dependency, so we have to reload. Okay, we already have it in your class part. So that's why we don't need to. So what we need to do is see this Java and JPA. This is MySQL. Since we are not using MySQL now, we don't want to connect to database now. We connect the JPA out. So what we want to do, there is another dependency that we can use to write to Excel. Apache. Let's go do something. How to? Okay. The first thing is file upload. Spring boot. So if you want to upload file, look at file download and file upload. I just want to get the dependency so that we now use it. Let's first work with file download and file upload first. I'm just looking for the dependency. Okay. There are a set of configuration we need to do if you want to upload the file. Most of the time you specify the size of the file, because like when you want to upload file to some server online, they will tell you that the maximum file size you can upload is this, so that you won't bog down their server with a lot of files. So the first thing we need to look at the dependencies that is needed for file upload. So, and those settings that need to be in place. The first settings that need to be in place, you specify the file size you want to accept. In your application property files, here, let's create another package. We call it a controller, right? Can create another package, we call it a model, right? That's our file structure. We create another package, you can call it a DTO. You can create Surface, go and create the other one yourself. If you come under here, you will see your application property file. So we can put the configuration file there. So if you put 5000 KB, so it means that the file size you want to accept, it should be this. I think this one should be greater than, maybe it's 20 gig. But per file, the maximum you can upload per file is what? 900 KB. So if you have multiple files you want to upload, 9,000. So that's 9 megabytes. So we now need to get the dependency for uploading file. Just want to maybe you give me my system. Let me check the terms. File upload and Spring Boot. Example. Okay, I think this guy used to tell us what I want to get is the dependency. This guy said no need for external library for file upload. Maximum upload size some specify to, and let me check. I think the size I specified in the property file should be. I want to check my existing project. We should have this. Oh, that's not the development. Okay. Let's put this on our class part to replace what we have. Okay, and then the second thing is I have some code. That is where you specify the file size, and you may decide to change it based on what you want. I have some code that I sent here. What is going on? Look at the file upload. I will just explain it to you. You don't need to write. Whenever you want to upload file, all you need to do is specify what you want to do. So let's create our controller here. Let's make it file upload. Controller at rest controller at request mapping. You are familiar with this. Let me call it the base file to be stored. So I have to paste the code there so that I will not explain it. There is a context file I need to add there. Call it servlet context. Okay, let's go there. So all you need to do is import this. You import this. What I will do is I will import everything, but later I will leave it to this the file result. I don't want to expose it to you now. Let me remove this. Just hold on. Let's just move this one to the Now there is anytime we want to upload a file, let's import this file. This one goes no. There is a library for file util that we need to add. Let me search for this library online. That's if we want to use file util. But I taught you how to write to file. How to, so we can copy that as well instead of using file util. But I'm going to use a library called file util. There is a library called Apache Commons IO. It has a lot of utility that we can make use of. You understand? So if you add it to your this thing, instead of writing all those this thing yourself to upload file, to write to a file, you can make use of the library. You don't have it yet. Let's try.
It's 2.8.
Yes. But you can get the latest version if that is what you want to use. So I want to explain how to upload to server and how to download the file. Now we now have the right to import still unpacking. You can use it org.apache.common.5 So this is how this one works. This one try to rename the file, but let's just go straight to the point. We don't want to rename the file for now. This is original file name, right? So we can now say we need to specify the folder where we want to upload the file. We need to specify the folder. We may decide to create a file here, a folder on the class part, and put it in our static resources. Do we understand?
Create a file here.
Yes, we create a folder here on our class part, so that because when you are uploading a file, take for example, you select file from your system and you want to upload it to the server. Let's say to your Facebook account. The system will pick it from your from your system. You do not put it on your Facebook account, but on the Facebook application there is a particular place where it will keep the file that you upload. The same thing applicable here. So, but not what I normally do is a web application. I normally have another directory structure where I will put the file. Let me check my here. In the me here, I used to have another directory structure where I will put. I just want to show you the file organization, how we organize the file. In the me here, what I normally do is I used to create a folder here. I'll call it web app. Inside the folder, you may now decide to create a web. Sorry, you can create another folder there if you like, or maybe when you go to the application you do that too. Because if you reload this your application now, let me close it and open it again. Everybody is looking as if it is strange.
Sir,
Yes.
the folder you put it now, what if you created it as a package in the Netflix?
No,
What?
don't create it as a package. Can you see now that it has appeared? Do you understand it now? Can you see now that I put a folder under this one? Or you may decide to create. I just went there to create. If you don't like, you can equally create it under here. If I close this guy now, that is if you go to your main project now. Let me delete the folder from here. If you now open this project now, what I normally advise is my project structure. It depends on what you want. Here, directly here, I can create a folder. I will call it web app. Is it web apps or web app? Most of the time, if you close your project, open it again, do we have the folder there? I don't think so. We don't have it. Well, what I normally do is you go under this, you create web app. So that web app is where you create, you put most of your resources. It's supposed to come up. Let's close and open again. Can you see it now? So under this web app, you may decide to create a folder. This is my project structure, which I normally use. If you go to any organization and they have their own structure. So here, you will now create different folder under here. Maybe I can create a folder for, let's say, photograph. Maybe this is where I want to be keeping all the photograph. I can create a folder for, let's say, documents. This is where I want to keep all the documents. So when you are uploading the file, you need to specify that this file you are uploading, the part you want it to go. Do we get it? Yes. So like here, and there is a way we get to this part in our application. How we get to this part is through this guy. This context servlet context. So now, as when I want to get the base part, all I have to say is, and that's a context dot get I used to say get repart, or let me check what I normally use. I say get repart. If you say repart, you need to put under the web INF. I want to put it under the documents. Do you get it? It means that this is the base part. So if your application is HTTP, let's say it's swipe.ng, so it means that the context part will give me HTTPS swipe.ng /port web INF document. Do we get it? Yes. So whatever web this thing you host is still going to pick the current context part. As we now we are on here now, the context part is going to be here. Just like this. You see this Apache command? It's like you create a folder under web INF. The name of the folder is this. But the advantage of this is, even this file, you can any file under the web INF, it is protected. You can't access it directly. You can't access it directly. That's why I love to put it under there. Any confidential file, you put it under this web INF because you can't access it directly. Now, this is where I want to put the file. I can save plus file dot path separator. Path separator will give you slash, the forward slash. I don't know if you get it. Or if you don't want to use path separator, say plus, because now the original file name call me is this. Do you get it? You don't get it?
Yes.
Now look at it now. Let me explain this method to you now. Whenever you are uploading a file, it is a post. You understand? Let me just say okay. It is a post request. Do you get it? You have to make it to be a request path. You annotate it to be what? A request path, which is going to be a multi-path. Any file upload is a multi-path. The data type for file upload is a what? Multi-path. Do we get it? This one we upload a single file. We don't need this second parameter which I put there. We don't need all this. All we need to do is, all we need now is this. So we are telling Spring that what you want to consume is what? Multi-path form data. When you want to upload file, you don't change all this. This is just, and if you like, we can remove this. It's just API definition. This one is just API, but it must be a post request. So the first thing is, there are files that will have space. Maybe if you name your file, it says state of origin, you put space. The essence of this one is remove. Is a string method. I don't need to tell you this one. Anywhere you see space, put underscore, and if you have forward slash in the file name, put underscore. If you have greater than, put underscore. Replace everything that have this character with what? Underscore. Do we get it?
Yes, sir.
The reason is when you get to a Linux server, when your file has space, it won't be able to read it. Most of the time it will complain. Or some server will handle it very well. So that's why it is important to rename the file. So we rename the file to this. We now specify the location we want the file to be. That is going to be under this what? Document, using this new name. The next thing is I create a file for a complete part of the new file. Then this one is to write that file, write that test file. File.get what? Byte. File.get byte, that is the content in that file. Write it here. Write it here using this new name. I don't know if you get it. Do we get it? I'm just explaining the file upload, that okay, this is how you upload the file. So now if you want to see that okay, the file is actually fine, well, let's try and add a Swagger documentation so that we'll be able to test it directly from our Swagger. There is a configuration file we need to add. Let's get a Swagger config so that we add it to our project, so that we'll be able to access the Swagger. Looking for the Swagger config file. This is it, right? So that we'll be able to make use of what? The Swagger. So here we can create a package. We call it what? Config. So under this package we create a class. We call it Swagger config. And the Swagger config here, we can copy this content and put it there. But we already have it in one of our projects. Why can't we just copy it? So all we need to do is here we can put the location of our controller there, right? So what this one means is any context part with, if I put at what store, it means that it's going to pick only this. I don't know if you get it. It's going to pick, if we put at store now, it's going to pick only, but anytime you have other controller under here, it will not pick them. Yes, because we have specified. So the only thing that, let's see which one do we open. I don't know, maybe because we opened the two projects. This one doesn't have anything. I will check this one, but let me show you something again. We can put but if you want it to pick anything under this controller, all you need to do is you put a part selector. You just say okay, part selectors dot n. Part
WS.
supposed to be part selectors dot n, so that if you create additional controller, it will pick all the M controller. You create additional to pick all the M controller. So how do we run this?